Hi, my name is Jesse at Trash Panda, and we're designing a brand new mid-range. And by we, I mean you and me. A few weeks ago, we dropped a video where we tested 19 different mid-ranges from 19 different companies. And at the end, we asked you all one question. If you could design a mid-range, what would you do? And well, now comes the fun part. First, we need to go through over 700 comments to find the most common answers. And then we'll design and 3D print some prototypes, so that in the end, you all can vote on which one we make. Let's do this. After reading through all the comments, we definitely have our work cut out for us, but we were kind of expecting that. So we were able to boil everything down to the 3 most common requests. And first up, versatility. Maybe the most common request was for a disc that could be used both forehand and backhand. And I completely agree. Why carry a disc in your bag that can only do one thing when you can carry something versatile enough to fill multiple slots? So it seems for this group that something with a flatter top, shallower depth, and a reliable fade would be completely ideal. Which leads to the second category, reliability. The line for throwing a mid straight is super thin, and by far the majority seem to agree that a 2 fade was a little too much, while a 0 fade was not enough. Don't at me, Mako 3 fans. So for this category, we have a little bit of a balancing act ahead of us. And finally, the third category isn't really a category. Instead, we totaled up the descriptor words used most throughout the comment section, which in order of times used were flat, shallow, and hex. So now it's time to take that information and design and 3D print some prototypes. Now I know I've said this before, but the Trash Panda community is unreal. So with the help of my buddies Alex and Chris, both of whom I originally met as subscribers, we were able to design and 3D print 3 different discs out of recycled ABS. So I want to quickly talk through the design on all 3 and then we'll throw them. And for the purposes of this video, we'll affectionately refer to them as prototype number 1, 2, and 3. Starting with prototype number 1. It's super flat with a nice gradual rounding on the edge. It's got a nice, thick, and really easy to grip rim. Of the 3, it's definitely the thickest and the deepest rim, but it's nothing crazy thick or crazy deep. We designed this one specifically to have the most torque resistance. But as amateur disc designers, we'll just have to see. Prototype number 2 is the most rounded. Now I wouldn't call it round per se, but it's not perfectly flat. Between the 3, it's definitely got the middle amount of thickness and depth, but as far as a backhand grip goes, it feels really comfortable. If our designs are accurate, we designed this one to have something like a 0-1 flight rating. But we'll have to wait and see on that too. And last up, prototype number 3 is board flat. It's got a quick little round on the edge, and it definitely has the least amount of rim thickness and depth. And this one we designed with the word reliable in mind. But I know, maybe the most important thing is how they fly. So sit tight and watch this super creative transition. Alright, I'm here with my buddy Jason, who owns Another Round Denver, and we're gonna show you exactly how these fly. Now I have a pretty solid forehand, and he's Dr. Smooth Jr., so I'll show you the forehand line and he'll show you the backhand line. Let's do this. Alright, let's do a quick little summary and then we'll vote. Prototype number 1 definitely had the most amount of torque resistance, but probably a little too much fade, like somewhere in that 0.2 range. Whereas prototype number 2 had the least amount of turn and the least amount of fade. But to be honest, that made it a little bit touchy. And lastly, prototype number 3 had the most amount of turn, but it was balanced out with its fade. So now we need your votes. And to make it as easy as possible, we created a YouTube poll, and we've pinned the link to that in the comments below. And if you want to go above and beyond, we'd also love to hear why you voted for the prototype you did in the comment section of this video. From the results, we're going to design a couple variations of that prototype. That way we can test how small design changes actually impact the flight of the disc, and maybe, just maybe, make the greatest straight flying mid-range of all time. As always, thanks so much for watching, and thank you for your input. Please subscribe to support the channel, and we'll see you next time. If you haven't seen it already, I wanted to quickly highlight a project that Another Round produced with Paul Ulibarri. It's called Scratch to Scratch, it's on the Disc Golf Network, and it's so worth it.